All right, the one thing I hate more than losing is admitting I was wrong. So, if you watch the last video of me just hating on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, how I never played it before and it was my first time getting into the series and I thought, yo, let me try the third one. Right? It's going to be the best one that came out. Everyone is raving about it. Pre-orders were crazy. GameStop was limited when I went to go buy it. And I thought the game sucked. I thought it was the worst game that I've ever played in the existence of my life. But it is not a bad game. It's not perfect, but it's definitely not a bad game. It's just not what I thought it was going to be, right? My fault. That was my fault. I should have done a little bit more research into it. But thanks to 6 Foot Mouse in the comments of my last video, he convinced me to keep playing the game. Not only was, not only did they enjoy the game, but the fact that they said they never played a Xenoblade game either, and that that I had to keep playing it, and then it picks up. That's where it kind of gets me is the game. So after I hated on the video, I did research a lot about how to play the game, how to customize your characters, what build out and stuff like that, right? A lot of the reviews said you have to play the game for at least 15 to 20 hours before it picks up. Right? 15 to 20 hours. If it wasn't for them and if it wasn't for a 6 Foot Mouse, there was no way I would have wanted to keep playing the game, right? I wasn't enjoying the game at all. So why am I going to play it for 10 more hours from the time I did the review? It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, like why make a game that starts off so slow and then, you're rewarded with your patience 20 hours later, right? But that's the thing. Like that's what needed to happen for me. So, um let's just go down. I wrote some things down because there's quite a few things that made the like change my mind about it, right? First of all, the gameplay still sucks. I don't like it. I don't like the battle sequences. I don't like how slow it is. It's when you are playing the game, and so like I'll have it up here, right here, the gameplay and stuff, right? So when you're in a battle, there's so much going on. At least that's what it looks like, right? There's about 7 to 8 characters fighting one monster, two monsters, depending on how many enemies are on the screen. But the hero, your party is about 7 to 8, depending on your layout, right? So they're all swinging, they're all doing their abilities, they're all just doing their own thing, and then you're controlling one. You could jump back and forth controlling different characters and stuff like that. And personally, I didn't do that. I did it on a couple times. I had to switch to like the healer role just because our healer wasn't healing, so we were dying. But again, that didn't happen a lot. We don't die, right? Um, yeah, it's just so much going on. But as it's going on, there's nothing like me personally am not getting that adrenaline rush, right? I'm not like into the battle. We're like, oh, I'm dying, like save me, save. You see my reaction right now. Like I'm playing it, but I'm not into it, right? Um yeah, so that's that. It's not hard at all. The battling to me is not hard, and you're just waiting for your abilities to reload, right? You're just standing around, just waiting. And a lot of people say it takes a lot of concentration in these battles, but I don't think it takes that much concentration. So, for an example, playing as an attacker to me is the simplest role to do. All you do is just concentrate on the movement and positioning of your character in relation to the monster, right? So, or the enemy. So if there's certain attacks where it does more damage when you have to be on the side of it, or there's more damage when you're behind the enemy. And then you also just have to pay attention to like your combos. So if one of your enemies starts a combo attack, you kind of have to wait to use your ability at the in the right time, you know. And that's the only concentrating part that I've had to do with the attacker, where I had enough time to go into the right position, wait for my ability, use it, move to the next position, wait for the ability. If I had both abilities charged up, it was a little bit quicker, you know. And then just waiting to see when when an enemy started the attack, or I'm sorry, when one of my teammates started the combo, and then that's when I needed to use mine. And you know, that's not hard. That's not too hard of thinking, right? That's not. I didn't have to concentrate too much. It was simple. The healer role I enjoyed more because there's a little bit more you have to pay attention to. Again, though, it doesn't take too much concentration. So as a healer, obviously you want to heal your teammates, your party, right? So you have to keep track of each person's health bar. Obviously, easy. So you could see it going down, right? When someone dies or faints or whatever it is, you could run and revive them. And the healer also has abilities where you could like boost up your other player's defense. You kind of just set an area. I'm like, okay, stand here and I'll heal you, or stand here and you'll get more attack points and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more concentrating, but at the same time, for the most part, each character stands in the same position in every battle. You know, so I know Noah's always going to be behind, for the most part, behind the enemy, because that's where his most powerful attacks come from, you know. So if I want to boost up his attacks, I'll run over there, set up an attack bonus, and then I'll run back to the party, start healing them. If I see Noah's health bar kind of go down, just run to the back, heal him a little bit, and then, you know, so it's just a lot of running back and forth, but it's not me, oh no, I have to go over here, oh no, I have to run over here. It's simple. It's all pattern based, which I get it, you know, I get it. But it's not, there's no adrenaline for me in these battles. It's just a battle, you know. It's nothing hard. So the menu system is super overwhelming. You can switch between classes, you build up players' abilities. But I've learned when you switch the classes of a certain character with a different character's class, it's just, they're super weak. The first couple battles I did it, we died a lot, and I was like, you know, it doesn't make sense. But you have to switch classes. The game even tells you like, hey, you're maxed out at this class with this character. Your advice to switch, kind of thing, right? I didn't, because I realized the only time I switched classes was so that I could learn an ability, because when you use a different class, you could get different abilities. And then each character will have 7 instead of 4 during a battle. So that's the only time I switch. But once I got enough abilities, I just switched back to the original class. And I kept it that way. And I don't see an advantage of switching classes anymore, because we still go through battles, we're still winning. I hardly die, I hardly like faint or whatever. I do faint when I just try to take on like too many enemies at one time, or I try to take on like a level 50 when we were at level 15. Like, obviously that's not going to work. But for the most part now, like, I haven't really needed to use different classes, you know, and I've been progressing through the storyline and stuff like that. So that's another thing. There is a feature now that we've went further in, is the interlink feature, where 2 characters link up and become like I honestly think it reminds me of like Power Rangers when they go inside their little like, not robots, but the machines, you know. And it's kind of like that. It's a cool feature, but again, I don't really see the benefit of using it. It makes the gameplay like slower. It slows it down. The interlink attack is slower, and then it does a little bit more damage, right? Again, it's probably because I haven't upgraded it, but at the same time, I feel like I don't need to use the interlink to get through these battles, so there's no incentive for me to keep using it, you know. The one mechanic that I do like in the battle system, I like it and I don't like it, is the chain attack. The chain attack really slows down the battle because it literally pauses the battle and you go through the menus and you have to see which enemy you want or which hero's ability you want to use in which order, and it's a slow process. But if you get the process down right, it does massive damage, like super massive damage, where it is an incentive to use it. But I only use it towards the end of a battle is what I learned, because you could use it at the beginning of a battle and it really doesn't do, if you're not going to get the kill, it just kind of, it really just makes the battle so much longer. So I try to get the enemy's health low enough to where when I do use the chain attack, most likely I'm going to get the kill. And if I don't get the kill, it's only a couple more seconds before the chain attack is done that will get the kill. And that's what I tend to use the most. It's definitely better. It's definitely better than the interleague system, right? Okay, so with all that said, it still probably seems like I'm hating on the game, right? No, I'm not. I love the story of this game. It's so good. It's so deep. You start feeling for the characters. Each character you learn more about, and it's kind of cool because each character is kind of from its own different like colony and stuff like that, and it goes into their backstory and before they were grouped together, you know, and it's just, oh, you start to feel for them. You just learn, like Taeon, I hated him, right? I just did not like him in my party. But as I learned about his story, I saw that, like, I ended up playing as his character just because I felt bad for him. I was like, oh no, like this dude, he's good. Like he's doing things for the right reason, right? The game, the story, it's so engaging. There's so many twists in it, and like there's literally, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Like I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a scene, right, when a character comes out, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like what? You know, I literally just, it blew my mind to see him on screen, right? And so it's just, I got into the story, and then that's what kept me kept playing the game, is I just wanted to get into the stories. Only thing though about this story is the cutscenes are so long. Like you need patience if you want to play the game for the story. There's the ability to skip through all the cutscenes. You just hold the X button and it skips through. So if you're just here just to fight through, you know, the story, you could do that. But it's I'm not like that. I want, like, the story has me hooked. So I watch the cutscenes, but the cutscenes are so long that my controller times out through the cutscenes. It just says like controller disconnected, and then I have to reconnect the controller to the Switch, and you know, it's just, they're just too long. I think my controller times out after 10 minutes of no use. So I'm literally sitting here watching about 10 minutes. And yeah, so if you go back to some of the past streams or the past videos on the channel, there'll be certain parts during a cutscene, you know, it's a 20 minutes between battles, and it's like watching a movie, right? But then the controller just goes out. I'm like, dude. And then I realized, like, oh, we've been watching this for a while. So that's the downfall for sure of it. And so since the cutscenes are so long, I've tried to switch my mindset about the game. I don't look at this game anymore as a normal RPG or a normal action game. I look at it as a visual novel, right? Which I'm sure people are going to be like, this is not a visual novel, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But if I think of it as a visual novel, I can appreciate the game way more, right? I don't have to think of it as like an action game where I need to like strategize too much about like, oh, how am I going to fight this boss? Maybe later on the bosses are going to get a lot stronger or more like difficult, you know, like their attack patterns or something like that. Maybe, but right now it's just, I don't really have to worry. It's like, okay, here comes the big dragon right here. Not even worried about it, right? Because it's not like, so when I usually play a game where I'm a healer, it's way more fast paced. For an example, when I play Vainglory, it's 3 on 3. You know, three people on each team. I'm the healer. There's one attacker for me, and then one jungler for me, right? And when we get in the battle, I have to watch their I have to kind of remember what abilities they have, how much health they have, and then I have, you know, I could protect them with certain items, and my fingers are just boom, 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 boom. You know, like I'm paying attention, I'm concentrating. This game, no, it's not like that. It's so much slower, and I think that's what makes it like boring for me in the battle scenes, because I'm so used to like fast paced battles, right? Um, but Xenoblade is it. I now I go into playing the game that it's much more relaxed. I realize like I'm able to forget everything and just immerse myself into the story. And I see it as the battles are just something that you need to use to progress to the next storyline, right? So that's how I see the battles as. I just see the battles as it's something for me to do while learning about the story. Um, I don't play for the adrenaline rush anymore. I actually play this game to like just wind down at the end of the day. As crazy as it seems, right? Because the battles look intense, right? But I'm telling you, it's just relaxing, right? Um, like I'm super glad I stuck with it, right? I like I said, I play it at night right before I go to bed, and it's kind of just a new way to like read a book, right? It's a new way for like a bedtime story. You're not just playing the game, or you're not just listening to a story. You are the story, right? You're in it. And so that's what that's what this game has become for me. It's just an experience now. It's not to get the adrenaline rush of, oh, let me play video games. It's not to, oh, let me challenge myself about learning a strategy, or learning how to maneuver my fingers better so that I could get this combo in quicker, or stuff like that. It's here for me to enjoy the game, enjoy the story of Xenoblades. And I have to say, it has jumped up significantly into the top. I'm going to say top 5 games I've ever played, period. You know, including story, including gameplay. My tops are Gears of War is just nonsense game, right? It's a video game, right? Guns that have chainsaws, right? Pokemon's up there, slow pace, you know. Um, so like this game, it's kind of the in between of that, but it's I just like it. I just enjoy it now, and I'm glad I stuck with it. But there's still the downfalls of it, where it's not a perfect game, but the story is perfect. So that's my new. I hate it. I hate to admit it. I was wrong, but I'm glad I was wrong. So hopefully this helps you out if you're thinking about getting Xenoblades, or you were where I was, where you're like, this game's trash, I'm not playing it no more. You have to stick with it 20 hours in, which sucks. But once you get there and you can appreciate the storytelling, you can appreciate everything that goes behind each character, I think you will enjoy the game. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Um, yeah, I'll be playing Xenoblades, and I'm gonna try to finish it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. What the heck's my controller?